I'll be sitting with Hingham Public Schools Superintendent Paul Austin. The district just rolled out its remote learning plan for its roughly 4,200 students during this coronavirus outbreak. In addition to that, they've implemented their grab-and-go meals for students who need it. Looking forward to sitting with the superintendent. Let's tune in. Hello, Superintendent Paul Austin from Hingham Public Schools. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we appreciate your joining us, and for our citizens here in Hingham and our students, this is an opportunity to sort of have you share with us what the district is doing as we all endure this coronavirus, this pandemic. So let's just get started. First off, I want to start with some information that the school district shared with its community, I believe as recent as maybe 24 hours ago. I know I saw something recently on social media. It made reference to the fact that parents, students would be receiving something from the district in the form, I think, of a PDF. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it's our remote learning plan that our administrative staff have been working on for the last, I would say a couple of weeks. We've been planning for this for a while, and even prior to the governor announcing that our extended closure, we were preparing for that event in case it happened. So we've been working on that for a while.
So let's talk about some of the highlights within that remote learning plan. Obviously, the Department of Education, Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, Jeff Riley had shared some guidance. Is this the guidance that the district took in rolling out its remote learning plan?
Absolutely, and we very much appreciating the guidance that we've received from DESE. And once again, we're trying to be incredibly respectful of all of our students' needs. There's just a reality that not every student has access to the internet or computers. There's just a reality that there are multiple children in households that may be in different grades that are accessing the same computers. So trying to roll something out to everyone that fits the needs of every single person is an incredible task. That said, I think that our staff has worked really hard to try to find the best happy medium for all students. I hear from a lot of people. We've received an incredible number of emails, and although we try to respond to those, we simply can't get to all the emails during this time, but we're doing the best we can with that. That said, we have many people who have asked for more than when we've been able to produce so far. In education, I understand that. I think that families are doing incredibly well, trying to manage a very difficult situation that none of us have had to be in before. At the same time, I have other families who are very concerned that any additional activities would be very stressful for the family to try to do. And they're managing the best they can with what they have. So we have to find for lack of a better term, the sweet spot of what can we offer families that meets the needs of all students while being mindful of the kind of activity that certainly they can tolerate given the time that we're in.
Is one of the elements within DESE's guidelines giving districts a little more flexibility with respect to the state standards, meaning that because of this circumstance, because of the remote learning, and perhaps the lack of resources on a consistent, equitable basis, does that give districts a little more wiggle room and less adherence to the state standards?
I wouldn't say any less adherence to state standards. We'll still stay very true to state standard. That said, I think there's some incredible room that we have in regards to how we grade and assess things, how we will move forward with that with credits or no credits for students, and so we're gonna roll that out with our guidance of how we're going to assess and grade students from this point forward. We recognize that not every student has the capacity or the resources to be able to compete in the same the same kind of activities that another person might be able to. And so we need to be mindful of that, and we need to do the best we can to level that playing field. Within a school setting, we have many students who receive accommodations or additional resources for them to be able to stay current. And so we have to be really mindful of how we address that moving forward in the curriculum. We're going to do our very best to provide all the resources we can to students and the supports that they need to be able to complete their tasks. Our focus really will be on I hope that the social and emotional well-being of all students is our first priority at this time. Academics are important, but we want to be incredibly mindful of the resources that people have to ensure that they stay healthy and and emotionally well during this entire period.
Let's talk about our high school seniors for just a moment. My heart goes out to them for lots of reasons, most importantly of which is, the question mark as to whether or not they will experience a traditional graduation come the June timeframe, or May for that matter. What is that looking like for you, and what might be the contingency plan? What message do you want to convey to our high school seniors?
Well, the first message I have is my heart absolutely goes out to our seniors. I know that this is an incredibly important time in their lives, and if I could have changed anything to have this not happen, I would have done that for them. I think we all recognize that we have no power over this situation, and there's no plan for it. There's no roadmap. There's no way for us to navigate that we've done before. That said, we have not gotten to a point yet of saying exactly how we will or can provide graduation, et cetera, for our seniors. My commitment to our seniors, we will do everything we can to make this experience at the end of the school year the best we can and what we're allowed to do. If that means that moving graduation to another date, perhaps later in the spring or maybe even early summer, all of those things are on the table. We want to honor our students the best way we can. Now that said, if we go back into school on May 4th, as the governor's extension goes now, and I anticipate that we'll graduate as we plan. But if that changes, then we will need to have a contingency plan of how we handle the end of the year activities, particularly for our seniors. We also want to make sure that we honor them and honor their time that they've spent in Hingham schools appropriately.
Let's talk about those students who have historically relied on meals that the schools provide, breakfast, lunch. To the credit of the district, you've implemented a grab-and-go program. Can you give us an overview of how that works and how parents and families can participate in that if they're not already aware of that?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I think we have much to be proud of in a difficult time, and as I might have said earlier, how proud I am of our staff for stepping up to the plate in this difficult time. One of the first things we did was implement the grab-and-go program. So we do have essential staff that are working. We have custodial staff, we have kitchen staff, and even transportation staff working during this time as we need them to be there. And they've done that with great enthusiasm. So we are offering free meals to any of our students that are in need right now. We encourage our families to contact our food service department. Kim Smith is the director. I believe you're probably going to talk to her later on this week. And she and her staff have done an amazing job of preparing those meals and getting them out to families. We've had increased need from the first day to now, where we're serving more than a dozen families, I believe, right now, and we're glad to do that. One of the things that I'm really incredibly proud of is just today we started. We partnered with the town of Hingham, and we are providing meals to many senior veterans in need in the community. Our kitchen staff are preparing those meals, and then our transportation services are actually delivering those meals to the veterans in our community. This is the heartwarming stuff that's happening everywhere, and we need to hold on to these important parts of our community and take care of those that are most in need at this time.
And would families who want to participate in this meals program, would they merely need to go to the Hingham Public Schools website?
Absolutely, and contact our Kim Smith, our director, let them know what your need is, and she'll make sure the next day you have what you need.
Thank you. Let's talk about your leadership team. Obviously, they've been hard at work pulling together these plans. How are they holding up and working remotely themselves?
I'll tell you, I could not be more proud of the people I work with. On a daily basis, they have stepped up to the plate. They have put the community needs at the forefront of what they do, oftentimes putting the needs of their own family behind. I have seen people working nearly 7 days a week trying to develop programming and services that best serve our students at this time. I would say we began this process before we ever had a closure. Our first meeting was on March 12th, actually. Thursday, March 12th, I brought the administrators together. I think at that time we were really concerned that a closure might be imminent, and it certainly was. And people began to think about, and I challenged them to think about those immediate term goals, as well as the the medium term goals, and then the long term goals of an extended closure. And I think because of that, it put us at a fairly good place to get the process started and to offer the best services possible in a quick amount of time. That said, we have over 4,200 students in this community, and that is a challenge. I am just absolutely thrilled with their work. I can't tell you how honored I am to be part of them, and they're an amazing group of people. And my heart goes out to them and their families at this very important time.
What would you like to share with the community at large in terms of what our school district is doing and preparing to support our students going forward?
Thank you for that question. I think the greatest thing that I want the community to know that we're here for them. We are doing our very best to serve our children and our families, and we support them with all of our heart. This is not a perfect process. We have rewritten the way education has been delivered for more than 150 years in this country, and we've done it within the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to have bumps in the road. It's going to be hard at times, and I ask for their patience in the process. But we are here absolutely to serve the community. Our hearts go out to our families. We care very deeply for our students, and we can't wait to have them back. There is no one that wants to be back on May 4th more than me. I want us to be back to our normal routines. This is hard. This is a difficult time. People are fearful, and that's understandable. But I'll tell you, we're going to pull through this, and we're going to do this together. We are a community of one, and this is something that what I've witnessed over the last few weeks. This is the true meaning of Hingham Strong, and we're going to get through this together.
Tell us about social distancing and what that looks like from a school's perspective.
Well, that's a great question, Joe, and I don't think that I can overstate the importance of staying at home right now. This is an important time, and so I just encourage everyone to stay at home to the extent possible. Only go out if you absolutely have to. Yes, we want you to exercise, but we don't want you to congregate. We don't want you in groups of people. This is not a time to have a pickup basketball game. This is a time to stay that distance away from each other and to stay healthy. I really believe if we do this well, we do this together, we will get back together faster or sooner than perhaps we would all like to be right now. I'm not sure that's probably not the best way to put it, but we can get back to our normal way of doing business as fast as possible if we do that really well. Our first and foremost priority for all of us could be the health and safety of everyone. And I can't overemphasize how important it is to remind everyone to just stay at home. We're going to get through this together. I know it's hard. I don't enjoy this either. I have a father that is in a facility in Maine that I can't go and see. We understand how difficult that is, but I also understand how important it is that we keep our distance at this time for everyone's safety.
So we want to encourage our community, even though the ball field may be there, even though the basketball and tennis courts may be there, don't use it.
Absolutely, Joe. That's such an important thing. I know it's hard to do right now. We all long for social interaction with one another. This is an unprecedented event that none of us have had to ever experience before. And it's difficult, but we are going to get through this. Just stay the course.
Superintendent Austin, I want to thank you for this time that we've spent, and I look forward to meeting with you again in this virtual space, perhaps to share regular updates. I'd love to encourage you to even have members of your leadership team as you see fit. Of course, we're going to be following up with Kim on food services to talk more about the Grab and Go program. There may be other highlights that you want to have made available to the community at large as we go forward.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and I look forward to coming back. And I wish that I didn't have to come back and it will be in school quickly, but if need be, I'm always here to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, sir. And as they say, stay healthy.
You as well, Joe.